Hey guys, thanks for joining me. It's Nicole from Dogo Argentino, USA. Hey, thumbs up. I've had such great growth on the channel. I appreciate it. I appreciate every comment, every like, every share, every subscribe. Thank you for participating. That we can share in the beautiful love of Dogo Argentinos is why I do it, because I am here for the Dogos. So I want to do a really quick video. People have been asking me why I use e-collars on my dogs. I'm going to give you 5 reasons why I think e-collars are awesome. Now, I do also want to give you 3 reasons you should never use an e-collar if you're unwilling to do certain things. So let's start. Oh, hello Dogos. Hello Dogos. Okay, so number 1. An e-collar, and this is the biggie, this is the number 1 reason that I love them. E-collars are the only collar that I'm personally aware of that you can use at a distance to communicate with your dog. Every other collar you can't. So a pinch collar, also known as a prong collar, a nylon collar, a leather collar, a choke chain, all of those collars you have to be attached to your Dogo Argentino in order for them to be effective. E-collars, you don't. So that is my number 1 biggie reason why I think e-collars are awesome. I can communicate with my dogs up to 1 mile away, and there's collars that do significantly longer distances than that. Number 2, I think they are the single most humane collar. Why is that? People have this thing in their mind that e-collars are so dangerous, and in case you don't know, e-collar stands for electronic collar. E-collars are so super humane because they have such incremental increases in both vibration, tone, and actual stimulation. When you get a choke chain or a prong collar, both of those can be excellent training tools, but you can't dial it in the way you can with an e-collar. You literally have stimulation in the form of vibration. I don't know anything that's even close to that with a prong collar or with a choke chain, but e-collars, they get an opportunity to get a heads up before you even administer any stimulation whatsoever. Stimulation 1 is so low, it's literally not even a tap on the shoulder. It's just to get their attention. It does not take the place of a regimented training program, but they're super humane because you can dial it in such a specific way that you can't do with a prong collar, that you can't do with a choke chain. And so therefore I am a huge fan. I think they are much, much more humane. Number 3, e-collars allow you to talk to your dog when it's in water or it's out of sight. Again, that goes back to the very first thing, that you can talk to your dog at a distance, and I think that's incredibly important. Dogs are very, very fast learners. This is an incredibly intelligent breed, and e-collars are a great way to train. Number 4, I think they are fantastic because they give you an extra layer of safety at night. They have lights on them. So you have a solid light, you have a blinking light. I can see the dogs. Obviously prong collars, choke chains, nylon collars, leather collars, they don't do any of that. They're not going to let me see my dog. I think that they are very good for night walks, and we love to go out at night. Why? Because game is more active. They actually get to smell bunnies and chase rabbits, and they get to see deer and all those kinds of things. And I have zero fear of that being a problem because my dogs are very, very well trained. We spend tons of time training. It's Monday today, my favorite day. Why? Because that's my Saturday. I always have Monday and Tuesday off, which is why you often see videos on Mondays and Tuesdays, because those are the days that I actually have off to go out in the wild with my dogs, to spend time with them, to train them, to be a family outside. And I love that about my dogs. And I love being able to do that with them. So I love the layer of protection that the light gives at night. And finally, I believe that an e-collar is the only collar that can well and truly save your dog's life in an emergency situation. My dogs are almost never stimulated. Literally, the e-collar part of it, I probably don't even stimulate my dogs once a month. They don't need it because they're so well trained, and because we reinforce constantly. Every single day we do training exercises. Every single day we're off leash. Every single day we're outside. And if you want a dog to perform well, repetition is key. fair, consistent leadership, fair, consistent correction, fair, consistent communication. That's what's going to train your dog. And so I love that we're outside every day. But if something happens, I guarantee you a 100 level stimulation is going to either do one of two things. The dog is immediately going to freeze from whatever it's doing, or two, it's going to jump in the air and hightail it back to you if you have used a training program. I do not in any way recommend you to get an e-collar, throw it on, and think the dog's going to understand. That would be a little bit like me throwing a kid a screwdriver and expecting him to be a master craftsman. You might be able to figure some stuff out by fiddling around, but it's not the same as a structured learning program. So don't get an e-collar off Amazon or eBay or something like that and think the dog is automatically going to understand what you mean. That's just torturing the dog because you're not setting up its expectations by doing a training regimen. This is what that stimulation means. Otherwise, it's not really a good point to it. Number two, con to e-collars. They have to be charged. You have to treat them like a cell phone. You have to charge them every night. If they are not fully charged, you might not be getting any response from your dog if they're at a distance. And so it's very important that you methodically plug in your collars every single day that you use them. And of course, the number three, you have to have them correctly fitted. And that is where a lot of people have problems with e-collars. They're not correctly fitted. Now, a correctly fitted e-collar allows the dog to eat, drink, breathe, run, no big deal. But a lot of people do not put them on the correct place on the head, and they don't put them tight enough. You should be able to get 2 fingers behind the skull. They should be fitted directly at the base of the skull, not down on the neck. Why? Because that's the more sensitive area. You don't want the stimulator on their throat because that's the most strong part of the neck. You actually want it directly behind the ear, which is the more sensitive part. So if you guys have questions about e-collars, feel free to shoot them in the description below. I read all my comments. Oh my God, my comments are so funny. I love my comments. They're the best. You guys are amazing. So join me next week. As always, I put out weekly videos about Dogo Argentinos and things that I'm doing. I love hearing from you guys. I love hearing the types of videos that you want to see. Get back with me and I will put it on the list of stuff to do. And as always, thank you for joining me. Have a Dogo-tastic day. Ciao.